you stand at the precipice of immense wealth, a landscape of ambition where fortunes are forged and futures are irrevocably shaped. A name echoes through the annals of American enterprise, a titan whose shadow looms large over the 20th century, Howard Hughes. He inherited a staggering fortune from his father, a patriarch who built the Hughes Tool Company into an industrial powerhouse through ingenious drilling bits. This wasn't just money, it was seed capital for a dynasty, a sum estimated to be in the millions by the 1920s, a foundation few could even comprehend. But young Howard was never content to merely inherit. He wielded that vast capital like a sculptor, carving monuments not just in metal and concrete, but in celluloid and air, aiming to leave an indelible mark on the world through his audacious, often unparalleled, ventures. Born into an era of burgeoning innovation and explosive growth, Hughes rejected the easy path laid out by his inherited wealth. He craved not just the accumulation of riches, but the creation of a profound and lasting legacy that would etch his name into history. His vision stretched far beyond the mere pursuit of profit. It aimed for the sublime, the perfect, the absolute in every endeavor he touched. He possessed an almost preternatural drive to master whatever he set his sights upon, pushing the boundaries of engineering, filmmaking, and aviation with a singular, almost monastic focus that set him apart from his peers and contemporaries. This wasn't mere avarice, it was a quest for ultimate dominion over the tangible world, a desire to reshape reality itself through sheer force of will and capital. Hollywood beckoned, a realm where dreams were manufactured and illusions held sway over millions. Hughes dove headfirst into this glittering, capricious industry, not merely as a passive financier, but as an active, demanding creator. He poured millions into his productions, pushing actors and crews to their absolute limits, demanding a level of excellence that bordered on outright obsession. His early films, like Hell's Angels, released in 1930, were groundbreaking spectacles, challenging the very limits of cinematic technology with their daring aerial sequences and sheer scale. This epic took a staggering $4 million to produce, a sum that dwarfed most budgets of the era, yet it ultimately earned a fortune back, birthing classics that would define an era of filmmaking and cement his reputation as a visionary producer who could command both art and commerce. Yet, his true heart, his most profound passion, soared higher, among the boundless expanse of the clouds. Aviation was not just a business interest, it was his consuming obsession, his ultimate frontier. Hughes didn't simply invest in aircraft companies, he became an engineer, a designer, and a pilot, pushing the limits of what was thought possible. He relentlessly pursued speed and altitude records, challenging the very laws of gravity with an unyielding will and a deep understanding of aerodynamics. His groundbreaking work with aircraft, including pioneering advancements in the airline industry and the development of the iconic H-1 racer, solidified his reputation as a man who dared to dream of flight and then made those dreams a tangible, world-changing reality, reshaping transportation and warfare forever. The Hughes Tool Company, the industrial engine inherited from his father, became the inexhaustible fuel for his burgeoning empire. This formidable enterprise, known for its precision drilling equipment, provided a seemingly bottomless well of capital that funded his most audacious and wide-ranging ventures. He meticulously expanded his holdings, transforming the company into a diverse conglomerate that spanned multiple industries, including aviation manufacturing, filmmaking, and eventually, the creation of Trans World Airlines, TWA, which he would later dominate. Hughes proved himself a master of industry, building a vast constellation of businesses that were both innovative and immensely profitable, a testament to his formidable intellect and relentless business acumen. His empire was a sprawling testament to the power of concentrated capital guided by singular vision. His ambition was not merely boundless, it demanded absolute, unwavering control. Hughes became infamous for his relentless micromanagement, a trait that defined both his triumphs and his eventual undoing. From the minute details of film editing, ensuring every frame met his exacting standards, to the precise placement of rivets on an airplane wing, his drive for perfection permeated every facet of his operations. This obsessive attention to detail, this need to personally oversee and dictate every outcome, was undeniably the engine of his early, meteoric success, allowing him to achieve unprecedented levels of quality and innovation. He wouldn't delegate, he would dominate, believing only his own hands could truly bring his grand visions to fruition, shaping every element into his desired form. But the relentless pursuit of absolute control, the need to eliminate every variable and preempt every potential flaw, began to warp his perception of the world. The unpredictable, often chaotic, reality outside his meticulously designed creation started to feel like an insidious source of threat, a place where unseen dangers lurked. Doubt, a foreign concept in his world of self-assurance, began to creep into the quiet corners of his mind, followed swiftly by a chilling and pervasive fear that would soon engulf him, altering the trajectory of his life and his empire. This was the first crack in the formidable facade, the subtle shift from visionary to victim of his own exacting standards. Whispers of unseen germs, of pervasive contamination, transformed from a nagging concern into a deafening roar of paranoia. Hughes began to systematically retreat from the world, his once vibrant, public presence replaced by an ever-deepening, self-imposed solitude. He shuttered himself away in opulent, yet increasingly sterile, environments, surrounded by a small retinue of carefully vetted attendants, his interactions becoming ritualistic and controlled. His empire, once a symbol of boundless expansion and audacious innovation, began to feel the strain as its architect became a prisoner within his own mind, his grip on reality loosening with each passing day spent in isolation, a gilded cage of his own construction. The demands of managing a global empire, once a thrill, became an unbearable burden. The sheer complexity of his vast holdings, from TWA's intricate flight schedules to the sprawling real estate and film studios, required constant attention and strategic decision-making. Yet, Hughes was increasingly unable to provide it. His paranoia dictated his movements, confining him to specific rooms, specific hotels, specific times. Business deals were conducted through intermediaries, his voice often distorted by tape recorders, his physical presence becoming a ghost in his own corporation. The intricate machinery of his empire, built on his direct involvement, began to grind, its gears slipping as its master became increasingly inaccessible and detached from the very world he sought to control. His legendary perfectionism, once a driver of excellence, now became an anchor, dragging him down into a vortex of indecision and delay. Every potential decision was fraught with the perceived risk of contamination, of error, of imperfection. This paralyzing fear meant that crucial business moves, vital investments, and essential strategic shifts were either postponed indefinitely or abandoned altogether. Competitors, unburdened by such internal demons, capitalized on his inertia. The very businesses Hughes had painstakingly built, the monuments to his ambition, began to stagnate, their growth stunted by the absence of decisive leadership and the pervasive atmosphere of fear that emanated from their increasingly reclusive leader. The legal battles began to mount, a testament to his diminishing grasp on his own empire. As Hughes grew more isolated and his behavior more erratic, lawsuits proliferated. Creditors, partners, and even government agencies found themselves entangled in protracted legal disputes with a man who was increasingly difficult to locate or communicate with. These battles were not just financial drains, they were soul-crushing distractions that further pulled him away from the active management of his businesses. Each lawsuit was another symptom of a larger disease, a sign that the titan who once commanded armies of workers and dictated terms to nations was now himself being dictated to by the legal system, his vast fortune caught in a web of litigation. In his final years, Hughes became a recluse, a legend shrouded in myth and increasingly frail health. He spent his time in darkened suites, surrounded by an army of nurses and attendants, his only companions the television and his own tormented thoughts. His once sharp intellect was dulled by illness and isolation, his body ravaged by neglect. The man who had flown faster than any man alive, who had produced groundbreaking films, who had reshaped industries, was now a prisoner of his own physical and mental decline. His fortune, immense as it was, could not buy back his health, his peace of mind, or his connection to the world he had once so powerfully shaped. When Howard Hughes died in 1976, his immense fortune was still largely intact, a staggering testament to the initial success of his ventures and his father's legacy. However, However, the true cost of his life's work was laid bare not in bank statements, but in the profound isolation and mental anguish that marked his final decades. The empire he built, a sprawling testament to human ingenuity and ambition, had ultimately become a gilded cage, trapping its creator in a self-made prison of paranoia and fear. He had achieved unparalleled success, yet in his relentless pursuit of control, he had lost himself. The legend of Howard Hughes endures not just as a story of immense wealth and daring innovation, but as a stark cautionary tale. His life demonstrates the perilous tightrope walk between ambition and obsession, between control and captivity. He mastered the art of building an empire, amassing a fortune that few could comprehend, only to find himself undone by the very psychological mechanisms that had fueled his rise. The question remains, can a fortune built on absolute control ever truly be free, or does it inevitably ensnare its architect in its intricate, unyielding design? His story is a profound exploration of the human mind at the apex of power and wealth. The real story of Howard Hughes's empire, the labyrinthine corporate records and the detailed psychological assessments, took me months of deep diving through obscure archives. If you found value in this unraveling, then give this video a like, and subscribe for the next deep dive. We're already sifting through the documents for the next titan whose world began to unravel. Because another empire, built on foundations just as grand, is already on the table, waiting to be explored. A like and a subscribe are what bring you back for it.